Welcome to the second episode of Squeaky Wheel Productions' Disability Series. Today, we will be talking about visible and invisible disabilities. As you may recall from last week's episode, a disability is a limitation. More specifically, a disability is a physical or mental impairment that substantially limits one or more major life activities, according to the Americans with Disabilities Act. I've included this definition in today's video because it fits perfectly into today's topic. So what is the difference between a visible disability and an invisible disability? As the name suggests, a visible disability is a disability that is immediately noticeable, whereas an invisible disability is a disability that is not immediately noticeable. For example, someone with limited mobility who uses a wheelchair or a walker has a visible disability. However, someone with chronic pain who does not show any visible symptoms has an invisible disability. Clearly, not all disabilities are easily noticeable. To demonstrate this concept, I've included some statistics from the 2012 Canadian Survey on Disability. According to the infographic, 10% of respondents reported having pain-related disabilities, compared to only 7% of respondents who reported having mobility disabilities. This means that invisible pain-related disabilities, such as chronic pain, are the most common form of disabilities. There's a lot more information where that came from, and I encourage everyone to take a look at the infographic, which I will include a link to in the description. Now it's time to play a game. It's called Can They Park There? Here's how it works. I give you a parking scenario, and you tell me if the person in this example can park there based on the information I give you. Here we go. You're at a shopping mall, and you see someone parked in an accessible parking space. They have an accessible parking permit and they're using a wheelchair. Can they park there? The answer is yes. If you said yes, you're correct. This person has an obvious disability and it's clear that they need an accessible parking space. Round 2. You see a second person parked in an accessible parking space. They also have a permit, but they do not show any visible signs of a disability. This is a trick question. Although this individual does not show any visible symptoms of having a disability, we have to assume that they have an invisible disability and require an accessible parking space. If you got it wrong, that's all right. You'll have a chance to redeem yourself in round 3. You see someone else parked in an accessible parking space, but this person does not have an accessible parking permit. Can they park there? Obviously, the answer is no. If you do not have an accessible parking permit, you cannot park in an accessible parking space. Not only is it wrong, it's also illegal. Now for the bonus round. You see someone taking up 2 parking spaces, but they happen to have an accessible parking permit. Can they park there? The answer is yes. In most places in Canada and the United States, it is legal to take up 2 parking spaces if an accessible parking space is unavailable and one is needed. This is to ensure that there is room for the passengers to load and unload the vehicle. As you can see, not all disabilities are easily noticeable. This is a problem because invisible disabilities are not as easily understood as visible disabilities, which creates a stigma. As a result, a lot of people with invisible disabilities are discriminated because their disabilities are not taken seriously. So, my challenge for you this week is to learn more about invisible disabilities and to be mindful of the needs of others. Thank you for watching.